Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how you can interface a PCA9535 port expander. So this is basically an integrated chip that communicates with the microcontroller with the I2C communication protocol. As you can see, I only here have two lines, and on the output I have 16 LEDs, so you can have more outputs with only two lines over here, but it goes with some expenses. You have to put pull-up resistors over here on SCR and SDA of the I2C communication. On the pin number 1 interrupt over here, interrupt negative, you have to put a pull-up resistor, and you have to ground the, or no, this is, you can do whatever you want with this, but you have to either on the specific part of this A0, A1, A2 bring the supply voltage, or you have to ground it, and that's basically it. So with two wires over here I can have, you know, like 16 outputs over here. So I have 16 outputs over here. So I have basically two ports on this chip over here. So 00.0 or 0.1, and yeah, it goes here 1.7, 0.1.6. So this is from here. This is the second port, and from here this is the first port, and I have 16 outputs over here. So let's see how you can configure this PCA9535. I'm not gonna go into heavy details. You have the data sheet on the internet. Just write down PCA9535. I just want to look here with you this particular part over here, where you have to configure the registers, and then you can write to the output port registers. So here from my left side, here we have a start condition, and then we write down the slave address to the chip. Okay, so, or I'm not gonna say a chip, I'm gonna say it's the port expander. So here you write down 0100, and then look at this, A0, A1, A2. So this is basically the address of the port expander. So you choose what is this going to be, A0, A1, and A2. So for one I2C protocol from the microcontroller, you can use eight different PCA9535 port expanders. You can watch my video clip where I wrote down the word microelectronica on 16 segment LED displays. I'll give the link in the description of this video. So if I grounded all of the edges of the edge select pins, so this is actually the edge select pins, then I write 000. So if I look at the code here, I2C1 initialize 400,000. So this is the frequency of the I2C communication, and this is the start condition over here. So that is basically this letter S. Okay, and then I write down the slave address to the port expander, and if I use 0 after A0 over here, then I write to the port expander. If I use letter 1, then I read from the port expander. Why would I read? Because this here port expander can even be used as an input, so I can have, I don't know, some push buttons, keyboard, etc. So this can also be an input to the microcontroller, and then you will read from the port expander, but I didn't use that. in this video. So this is read write. So I write to the port expander. So I have 0 1 0 0 0 0 0 0. So that is basically this part over here. Okay, now yeah, so first you have to configure the registers as an input or as an output. So this is the next 8-bit configuration. So I want to write to the to put the data into the register. So if you want to initialize the registers of this particular chip, then after the acknowledgement from slave, so this is acknowledgement from slave, you have to write this particular combination, and I did it over here. Okay, and then when you wrote this down, the port expander sends you the acknowledgement bit over here, and then I write down the data to the register. So if I want to configure these registers over here as an output, then I have to write after this comment over here all zeros and all zeros. So this is the first port over here. If you put somewhere 1, for example, least significant bit, if you put a logical high, then this particular the first pin over here is gonna be an input. But if I put everything 0 on this register and on this register, then all of these output input ports are going to be set as output. So I did that over here. Now let me just show. So this is basically configuring the PCA9535 to be as an output. Okay, so this is the configuration registers. With this you determine whether or not you're gonna use the input or output pins. I mean, you are going to use those pins bars, but either you're gonna use them as an input or to the microcontroller or as an output from the microcontroller. Okay, so that was basically it. Now how do I make these LEDs glow? I mean, how do I make on these output pins logical high, logical 0, etc. So that is the second part over here. So basically the start condition over here is the same as from here, but in the comment byte over here I have 1 0 less, 1 logical high less. So if you write this comment byte to the PCA9535, it waits for you to say whether or not you are going to write some kind of combination on the output, or if you set them, you're gonna read it. But in this particular byte, you write to the output port of the registers. So this is how it is done. First you send the slave address, and then you put logical 0 over here. So that's here. First I start the I2C 1 library, then I write this particular combination over here, then I write to the comment byte. So everything is in the datasheet, 0 0 0 0 0 1 0. So I do that. I mean, that is decimal 2, but binary it's 0 0 0 0 0 1 0. So I write down that byte 8-bit data to the port expander, and then after that, when the port expander says okay, it's all good, then you write the data to port 0. So first, in this particular situation, I put all logical zeros over here, I put all logical zeros over here, I stop the I2C1 configuration, and I have a delay of 1 second. So 1 second over here, all LEDs are not going to glow, they're not gonna blink. And on the second part over here, the first steps are same as here, or let's say 3 steps. From I2C1 start to here, it's all the same, but now on this data port over here I put all logical ones, so now all LEDs are going to glow. And when I start the program here, first all zeros, 1. As you can see, if I start the program, at 1 millisecond the all LEDs glow, but in real life they shouldn't. It's just the transition when you when you configure the registers from as an output or as an input. But when the program works, here it's gonna blink 1 second, 1 second not. So that's basically it for this video. I hope you understand how to use PCA9535, and yeah, you can look at my video where I wrote down microelectronic code 16 segment LED displays. I used 16 of these. Thank you very much, and see you in my next video. Goodbye.